What's up, guys? It's your bro Rich here again. Today in this video, it is now part 6 on the part 6 on the Chevy Corvette. Yep, looking much more fresher than before, shower, shaved as well. So yeah, looking like a new man. Well, I guess. I don't know how to properly say this, but oh well. Anyways, so yeah, I'm back with another video. So today in this video is now part 6 on the Chevy Corvette. Today I am now doing the next part. So today's part 6 on the Chevy Corvette. Today I'm now doing the next part, which is the C6 Corvette, which is frankly one of the best looking Corvettes ever. Like literally, I feel like it's like the best Corvette ever. Like the C6 is just brilliant. So before I get started, make sure you all like the video, subscribe, comment down below, what you guys think. Hit the notification bell. There we go. Start time lucky presumably. So hit the notification bell and hit all. So hit the notification bell and hit all, so you're alerted of when I make brand new uploads. All right. So without any further ado, let's begin. So the Gen 6 Corvette, so the C6 Corvette from 2005 to 2013. Here we go. So, for the C6 Corvette, GM, short for General Motors, wanted to focus more on refining the C5. So the predecessor before the C6. So they wanted to focus more on refining the C5 then try. So for the C6 Corvette, GM wanted to focus more on refining the C5. So for the C6 Corvette, GM wanted to focus more on refining the C5 rather than trying to redesign it. Car and Driver and Motor Trend, so both Car and Driver and Motor Trend magazines described the C6 as an evolution of the C5 instead of a complete redo. The C6 wheelbase was increased while body overhangs were decreased when compared to the C5. So while body overhangs were decreased when compared to the C5. Retractable headlights were replaced with fixed units. So retractable headlights were replaced with fixed units for the first time since 1962. The C6 brought both a new and improved interior compared to the C5. As a result of the interior upgrade or the upgraded interior, the C6 has a slight increase in passenger hip room. So in other words, it has like room for the passenger's hips. So yeah, the C6 has a slight increase in passenger hip room. It also sported an updated motor called the LS2, which bumped the 5.7 liter 350 LS1. So which increased the displacement of the which bumped up the 5.7 liter 350 LS1 LS6 V8 to a mighty 364. So that's a 6 liter 364. So a 6 liter 364 LS2 V8 and gained extra 50 horsepower, delivering up, which is boosted up from 350 to a massive 400 horsepower, which is pretty good at 6,000 RPM. So at 6,000 RPM, and at four, so 400 horsepower, 6,000 RPM, and at 4,400 RPM, 400 pound-feet, 540. So 400 pound-feet, 540 newton meters. So 540 newton meters of torque. So that's 6 pound-feet, 10 newton meters less than both a 2014 F80 M3 and an F82 M4. So F80 M3 and an F82 M4. So it's a little bit less than those two cars. So yeah, at 4,400 RPM, so 4,400 RPM, 400 pound-feet, 540 newton meters of torque. So at 4,400 RPM, and giving the car as so say 400 pound-feet, 540 newton meters of torque at 4,400 RPM, and giving the car a time of 0 to 60. So 0 to 60. So it gave the car a 0 to 60. So a 0 to 60 time of under 4.2 seconds, which is pretty good. It's like the same as Alfa Romeo 8C Competizione that Clarkson drove in Top Gear before they did the race across Japan against Hammond and May in public transport and Clarkson in the R35 GTR. So delivering at 6,000 RPM, 400. So 6,000 RPM, 400. So 400 horsepower. It's a lot of power. And at 4,400 RPM, 400 pound-feet, 540 newton meters of torque, and giving the car a 0 to 60 mile an hour time of under 4.2 seconds. Its top speed was 190 miles an hour. So 190 miles an hour. 190 miles an hour. The C6 shared some components. So the C6 shared some components with the Cadillac. So the Cadillac XLR. So with the Cadillac XLR. So XLR. So XLR. Hardtop convertible introduced 2 years earlier in 2003. The C6 didn't match the previous so the C6 didn't match the C5's relatively good fuel economy despite its relatively low 0.28, well 0.3 if you round up, both drag coefficient and low curb weight, achieving 26 mpg, 16 mpg for the city, and on the highway 26 miles per gallon. So it's a 10 mpg difference between the city and the highway. So achieving 16 miles per gallon in the city and 16 miles per gallon. So 16 miles per gallon in the city and 26 miles per gallon on the highway. Equipped with either automatic or manual, doesn't matter. Like all manual Corvettes since 1989. Like all manual Corvettes since 1989, it's fitted with CAGS, so CAGS, which stands for Computer-Aided Gear Selection, to improve fuel economy by requiring drivers, apparently, to shift from first directly to fourth gear in low-speed, low-throttle conditions. This feature helps the C6 avoid the GGT, so gas guzzler tax, by achieving better fuel economy. I mean, it kind of does work. I mean, if you go into like a higher gear, let's say if you're in, I don't know, third probably, if you shift probably to sixth or something, or fifth or whatever, did possibly work? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Anyways, so I mean, could work or no? I don't know. It might depend on how your driving is and all that kind of stuff and blah 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 blah. I don't know. Anyway, so this feature helps the C6 avoid the gas guzzler tax. So the gas guzzler tax by achieving better fuel. So by achieving better fuel economy, which is pretty good. The new Z06 arrived as a 2006 model in the third quarter, so 75% of 2005. So that was around between July, August, and September. So from July to September 2005. It has a 7-liter version, so that's a 7-liter version of the small block V8, codenamed LS7, at 427.6 cubic inches. Say at 427 so at 427.6 cubic inches, the Z06 was the largest small block V8 ever offered by GM, because of the Corvette's former use of 427 because of the Corvette's former use of 7-liter 427 big block V8s in the late 60s and early 70s. The LS7 size was rounded down to 427 cubic inches, so still 7 liters. Official output was 505 horsepower, which is pretty good for a C6. Not too bad. Pretty good. So 505 horsepower. Pretty good. So 505 horsepower. So it's like 100 or so, like 105 horsepower more than the standard C6. So the one that Hammond usually drives. And then Clarkson just tests out like how flimsy like the bodywork of the Corvette was. If you've seen it in Top Gear shows where he just taps on the back so many times, like you see how flimsy like the rear of the Corvette is, because it literally looks like it was plastic, pretty much, because the whole interior of the Corvette is plastic anyway, because back then they didn't have the money to have like proper like materials or stuff. They just, it's every American car, they have these terrible shambolic shitty plastics. Sorry, excuse my language, but still, like their plastics on those are just so terrible. They're like it's like they have it's like they cut open a plastic tin or something, or some like it's like they just cut off like a plastic, like a cookie box, and just literally attach it to the dashboard, and like literally just like that kind of plastic almost. Honestly, like they should have had better resources, I'll tell you now. Like literally, they should have had better resources for this, I'll tell you now. Anyways, so the new Z06 arrived as a 2006 model in the third quarter, so 75% of 2005. So that was between July to September. So between July, September 2005, it has a 7-liter version of the small block V8 codenamed LS7 at 427.6 cubic inches. The Z06 was the largest small block ever fitted, ever offered by GM. Because of the Corvette's former use of 427 small block V8s in the late 60s and early 70s, the LS7's size was rounded down to 427. So the LS7's size was rounded down to 427 cubic inches. Official output was 505 horsepower, and it has a time of 0 to 60 in. It has a 0 to 60 time. So 0 to 60 time. 0 to 60 mile an hour time of 3.7 seconds. That's like the same as a Shelby GT500 Mustang. from 2013, the one that Clarkson drove from London to Milan in Italy when they were doing like public transport, like racing and all that kind of stuff. Hammond won, got the ticket and all that kind of stuff. Blah 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 blah. So official output was 505 horsepower, and has a 0 to 60 mile an hour time of 3.7 seconds. Top speed is 198 miles an hour. It's like the same as an AMG GTR, probably. So top speed is 198 miles an hour. Another first for a Corvette, the Z06 featured a full aluminum chassis for the first time. Back then it was. So another first for a Corvette, the Z06 featured a full aluminum chassis or aluminium, whatever you want to call it. The frame mirrored the C5 C6 architecture, but so the frame mirrored both the C5 and C6 architecture, but substituted aluminum hydroformed rails, aluminum extrusions. Kind of, I don't even know what it means. Extrusions is spelled EXTRUSIONS. So extrusions. I don't really know what it means, but oh well. That's what it had. And castings fore and aft. Yep. It's kind of odd, to like say the words because yeah, it's a little bit difficult. Anyways, this dropped weight from 419 to a whopping 287 pounds. So that is 100. I'm just doing math on this one, so I know what it is. So that's 132 pounds lighter than before, and that's while improving chassis stiffness. Not bad, not bad. For 2008, the Corvette, so that was like 16, 17 years ago, something like that. The Corvette received so for 2008, the Corvette received a mild freshening, a new LS3 motor with displacement increased to 380. That's 6.2 liters. That's pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, for 2008, the Corvette received a mild freshening, a new LS3 motor with displacement increased to 380. So that's 6.2 liters, resulting in 430 horsepower and 430 horsepower. Say 430 horsepower and 424 pound-feet, 575 newton meters of torque. However, you can get it with a little bit more power because the next version has 436 horsepower and 428 pound-feet, 580 newton meters of torque, and that's if you order it with the optional performance exhaust. Probably that will cost a bit more money, but still a bit more power at least. But oh well, it's up to you which one you want to go with. Less power, more power, doesn't matter. It depends on how much it will be really, depending on the price. That's what I'm trying to say. The six speed manual. So 6-speed manual also has improved shift linkage and a 0 to 60 mile an hour time of 4 seconds flat. While the automatic is set up for faster shifts, giving the C6 automatic version a 0 to 60 mile an hour time also in 4 seconds. Faster than any other production automatic Corvette. The interior was slightly updated and a new 4LT leather wrap interior pack was added. The wheels were also updated to a new. So the wheels were also updated to a new 5-spoke design. The Z01 was formally announced in a December 2007 press statement or press release by GM themselves, so General Motors, where it was revealed that their target of 100 horsepower per 1 liter had been reached by a new LS9 motor with an Eaton supercharged, so with an Eaton supercharged, supercharged 6.2 liter V8 motor, producing a colossal 640 horsepower. It's the same as a Gen 3 Viper, and 604 pound-feet, 819, will round up to like 820 newton meters of torque. That's a lot. The LS9 was the most powerful V8 to be put into a GM production sports car. Its top speed was 205 miles an hour, the same as a Porsche Carrera GT, but that's just much lighter and a heck of a lot more expensive. Probably 3-4 times more, maybe 5. I don't know. Anyways, maybe 6. God knows. Say its top speed was 205 miles an hour, the same as a Porsche Carrera GT. My fourth dream car. First dream car was a 458 Ferrari. Anyways, the historical name Grand Sport, or GS for short, returned to the Corvette lineup. So returns to the Corvette lineup in 2010 as an entirely new model series that replaced the Z51 option. The new model was an LS3 equipped Z06 with a steel frame instead of aluminum frame. So with a steel frame instead of aluminum. I don't know why, but with steel it's just going to be a little bit more heavier than the aluminum or aluminium. But, oh well, that's how they did it. I'm not going to judge about that. So with a steel frame instead of aluminum, it retained many of the features of the Z06, including it retained many of the features of the Z06, including a wide body with 18 by 9 inch, so 18 by 9 inch, so 18 by 9.5 inch, so 18 by 9.5, so 18 by 9.5 inch front, and so 18 by 9.5 so 18 by 9.5 inch front, and 19 by 12 inch, so 18 by 9.5 inch front and 19 by 12 inch, so 19 by 12 inch rear wheels. Also was dry sump oiling for the manual transmission coupes only, 6-piston, so 14-inch brakes, 6-piston front and 4-piston rear, and improved suspension. Pretty good. Manual transmission equipped G/S, or just GS coupe, Grand Sport coupe models received a tweaked LS3 motor with a forged crankshaft. Pretty good. So manual equipped GS coupe models received a tweaked LS3 with a forged crankshaft are built in Z06 fashion. So built in Z06 fashion by hand, so like handcrafted in their traditional Z06 fashion, and utilizes a dry sump oil system. The first 3 gears, so first, second, and third, were also made shorter for both better throttle response and faster acceleration. There we go. A new launch control system was introduced introduced for all models that allow for sub 4 second 0 to 60 time. EPA's estimated so environmental protection agencies is so environmental protection agencies estimated at 26 mpg on the highway and a 1.0 G on the skid pad. Starting with the 2011 model year. So 2011 model year. So 2011 model year. So 2011 model year. So starting with the 2011 model year, buyers of both the Z06 and Z01 Corvettes were offered the opportunity to assist in the build of their motors, so of their engines, titled the CEBE, so Corvette Engine Build Experience. So Corvette Engine Build Experience. Buyers paid extra to be flown to the Wixom, Michigan performance. So Wixom,